Orchestrating your musical revolution, how to compose, conduct, and conquer your own sonic empire. Welcome to the Black CEO podcast, where we're about to embark on a journey that will forever change the way you perceive the music industry. Today, we're diving headfirst into the electrifying world of musical innovation, entrepreneurship, and cultural revolution. I had the extraordinary privilege of sitting down with the incomparable Pamela Smith, a visionary whose very name sends ripples through the industry. Her insights aren't just valuable, they're the kind of game changing wisdom that could spark the next musical renaissance. Pamela Smith isn't just a music industry veteran, she's a force of nature. Her work has reshaped landscapes, broken barriers, and paved the way for countless artists to find their voices. She's the architect behind some of the most groundbreaking initiatives in music education and artist development, and her impact extends far beyond the recording studio. Pamela's efforts have quite literally changed lives, using music as a vehicle for social change and economic empowerment in communities that have long been overlooked by the mainstream industry. So, buckle up because what I'm about to share with you isn't just information, it's inspiration, it's ammunition, it's the blueprint for your own musical empire. Have you ever stood in a crowd at a concert feeling the bass reverberate through your chest, watching an artist command thousands with nothing but their voice and their truth, and thought to yourself, I want to create that kind of magic? Well, my friends, that's exactly what we're here to talk about today. We're not just discussing how to make music, we're exploring how to create entire worlds with it. When I sat down with Pamela, one question burned in my mind like a hot stage light. How do we, as Black artists, producers, and entrepreneurs, create our own music worlds? It's a question that goes beyond melodies and rhythms. It's about forging paths through concrete jungles, breaking down walls with nothing but a beat and a dream, and leaving legacies that will echo long after the last encore. And let me tell you, the answer is as complex and layered as a Quincy Jones production. Let's start with the truth that might sting a little. The music industry wasn't built for us. Shocking, I know. It's like saying water is wet or that Prince could play a mean guitar. But here's the kicker: we built it anyway. We didn't just participate, we innovated, we created, we dominated. And that, my friends, is the first chord in our symphony of success. Innovation and entrepreneurship are in our very DNA. Think about Motown Records for a moment. Berry Gordy Jr. didn't just start a record label in 1959. He ignited a cultural supernova, facing racial discrimination that would make lesser mortals crumble. What did Gordy do? He pioneered. He created the Motown sound, a blend so sweet it could make angels weep and mortals dance. Imagine being in Detroit in the late 50s. The air is thick with tension, change, and the faint smell of motor oil. Gordy starts Tamla Records in a modest house that would become known as Hitsville, USA. Now, calling it modest is like calling the Grand Canyon a ditch. This wasn't just about laying down tracks, it was about laying down the foundation for a Black artistic renaissance. Fast forward a few years, and Motown is churning out more hits than a heavyweight boxer. The Supremes, The Temptations, Marvin Gaye, Stevie Wonder, these weren't just artists, they were cultural revolutionaries disguised as pop stars. Motown didn't just produce music, it produced a movement. It influenced fashion, dance, and even the civil rights movement. That's the power of creating your own music world. It extends far beyond the grooves on a vinyl record. But here's the thing: Motown's success wasn't an accident. It wasn't luck, and it certainly wasn't handed to them on a silver platter. It was the result of innovation, of thinking so far outside the box that the box became a distant memory. Gordy implemented a quality control system that would make Six Sigma look like child's play. Every Friday, the creative team would gather to decide which songs would be released. Their criterion: is this song good enough to steal food money from a starving kid? Talk about raising the bar. That's not setting a high standard, that's launching the standard into orbit. This brings us to our second key point: cultural impact. Black music hasn't just been the soundtrack to popular culture, it's been the screenwriter, the director, and the lead actor. From the blues that gave birth to rock and roll to the hip hop that now dominates global charts, our influence is more than undeniable. It's unavoidable. Let's time travel to the early 90s. Four young men from Queens, Damon John, Carl Brown, J. Alexander Martin, and Keith Perrin, are hustling on the streets, selling homemade tie top hats. They have a vision that's about to turn the fashion world on its head. FUBU, for us by us. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute, isn't this a talk about music? Stay with me, because this story is about to drop a beat you won't forget. Fubu isn't a music label, but its story is so intertwined with the hip hop movement that you'd need a laser to separate them. These entrepreneurs recognize something profound. Music isn't just about what you hear, it's about what you see, what you wear, how you move. They saw that hip hop wasn't just a genre, it was a lifestyle, a culture, a world unto itself. They partnered with rappers, got their clothes featured in music videos, and turned product placement into an art form that would make Don Draper weep with envy. Remember LL Cool J wearing a FUBU cap in a Gap commercial? That wasn't a wardrobe malfunction. That was guerrilla marketing so slick it should be illegal. FUBU took a $40 budget. Yes, you heard that right. $40, not 40,000, not 40 million, and turned it into a brand worth hundreds of millions. They didn't just sell clothes, they sold identity, belonging, a piece of the culture. This is what creating your own music world looks like. It's not just about the notes and the beats, it's about building an ecosystem, a culture, a movement that's bigger than any single song or album. But let's keep it real for a moment. Creating your own music world isn't a walk in the park. It's more like a marathon, uphill, in the rain, while carrying a grand piano on your back. It takes more than talent. It takes grit, determination, and the kind of out of the box thinking that makes people question your sanity right up until the moment they're calling you a genius. Which brings us to our third crucial point: empowerment through ownership. In the music industry, ownership isn't just important, it's everything. It's the difference between being a player and being played. It's about controlling your narrative, your art, your legacy, and no one understands this better than my Akon. Now, I can almost hear the gears turning in your head. Akon, the smack that guy? Oh, my friends, Akon is so much more than his hits. He's a masterclass in creating your own music world, gift wrapped in a charismatic smile and a business acumen sharper than a fresh hairline. Akon's journey began like many others with a hit single, Locked Up, charted on the Billboard Hot 100 in 2004, and suddenly the Senegalese American artist was on the map. But Akon didn't stop there. He understood that true power in the music industry comes from ownership and diversification. It's like he looked at the music industry and said, "Nice empire you got there. I think I'll build my own." He founded two record labels, Convict Music and Con Live Distribution. These weren't vanity projects or ego trips. They were calculated moves to control his destiny and nurture new talent. But here's where it gets really interesting. Akon didn't limit himself to music. He looked at his success and thought, how can I use this to light up the world? And I mean that literally. In 2014, he launched Akon Lighting Africa, a project aimed at providing electricity to African countries using solar energy. Now, you might be scratching your head thinking, what does this have to do with music? Yes, everything. Because creating your own music world isn't just about making hits, it's about making a difference. Akon understood that his platform as a musician gave him the opportunity to affect real change. He leveraged his success, his connections, and his vision to illuminate a continent. That's the power of owning your narrative, of controlling your brand, of creating your own world. It's about seeing the bigger picture and realizing that your music can be the soundtrack to real, tangible change. But let's bring this back to you. You might be sitting there nodding along thinking, that's great for Akon, for Barry Gordy, for the FUBU guys, but what about me? I'm just one person with a dream and a SoundCloud account. And that's exactly where they all started too, with a dream, with a vision, with the audacity to believe they could create something that didn't exist before. Creating your own music world starts with a mindset. It's about looking at the industry not as it is, but as it could be. It's about identifying gaps, needs, opportunities that others have overlooked. It's about being willing to take risks, to fail, to get back up and try again and again and again until you've created something that makes the world sit up and take notice. Maybe your music world is a new genre that blends unlikely influences. Imagine trap meets classical or Afro beat meets country. Maybe it's a revolutionary way of distributing music that puts more power in the hands of artists. The next Bandcamp or Spotify, but with a twist that no one's thought of yet. Maybe it's a music education program that nurtures the next generation of talent in underserved communities, creating a pipeline of artists who will shape the sound of the future. Whatever it is, know this: your voice matters, your vision matters, your world matters. The music industry needs your fresh perspective, your unique experiences, your innovative ideas. We've been at the forefront of musical innovation for generations, shaping genres, defining eras, and changing the world through our art. And we're just getting started. So here's my challenge to you: start building. Start with what you have, where you are. Maybe that's setting up a home studio in your closet and experimenting with new sounds. Maybe it's reaching out to other artists in your community to collaborate. Maybe it's learning about the business side of music so you can better protect and promote your art. Remember, Motown started in a small house in Detroit. Fubu started with tie top hats sold on the streets of Queens. Akon's empire began with one hit song. Your music world can start right where you are, with what you have. But don't just create for creation's sake. Create with purpose, create with passion, create with the intention of leaving a legacy, of pushing the culture forward, of opening doors for those who will come after you. Because here's the truth: the music industry doesn't just need your talent, it needs your leadership. As Black artists, producers, and entrepreneurs, we have a unique perspective, a unique voice, a unique power. We've been the heartbeat of popular music for decades. But now it's time for us to be the brains and the muscle too. It's time for us to own our narrative, to control our destiny, to build empires that will outlast us. So I want you to leave here today not just inspired, but ignited. I want you to feel the weight of your potential, the excitement of possibility, the urgency of your calling, because the world is waiting for your music, for your vision, for your revolution. Creating your own music world isn't just about making it big, it's about making a difference. It's about creating spaces where our voices can be heard, where our stories can be told, where our culture can thrive. It's about building legacies that will outlive us, inspiring generations we'll never meet. As I reflect on my conversation with Pamela Smith, I'm reminded of a quote by the great Nina Simone: an artist's duty is to reflect the times. But I would go a step further. An artist's duty, your duty, is not just to reflect the times, but to shape them, to create the world you want to see, to hear, to feel. So let me ask you this: what's the music world you want to create? What's the legacy you want to leave? What's the change you want to see in the industry? These aren't just rhetorical questions. They're the beginning of your journey. They're the seeds of your empire. They're the first notes of your revolution. Remember, every great movement in music started with a single note. Every great label started with the single artist. Every great innovation started with a single idea. Your music world starts here, starts now. So go forth and create, innovate, disrupt, own your narrative, build your empire, shape the culture, because the music world of tomorrow is waiting for you to create it today. And let me tell you something: the world isn't ready for what you're about to bring, but that's okay, because you are not here to fit into the world. You're here to change it. You're here to shake it up, to turn it upside down, to make it dance to your rhythm. So crank up the volume on your dreams. Let your ambitions be so loud they drown out the doubters. Let your vision be so bright it blinds the naysayers, because you're not just making music, you're making history. And to those who say it can't be done, to those who say the industry is too tough, too competitive, too set in its ways, I say this: they said the same thing to Barry Gordy. They said the same thing to the Fubu founders. They said the same thing to Akon. And look what happened. The music industry isn't just ripe for disruption, it's begging for it. And you, yes, you are the disruptor it's been waiting for. You are the innovator, the game changer, the rule breaker it needs. So don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the tag, whether it's a perfect moment. Don't wait for someone to hand you the keys to the kingdom. Build your own kingdom, create your own world, write your own rules. Because the truth is, there's never been a better time to create your own music world. Technology has democratized production and distribution. Social media has given us direct access to our audiences. The old gatekeepers are losing their grip and new opportunities are emerging every day. But here's the catch: it's not enough to just have talent, it's not enough to just have a good song or a hot beat. You need to think bigger. You need to think bolder. You need to think like an entrepreneur, like a visionary, like a world builder. So here's your call to action: start today. Take one step, no matter how small, towards creating your music world. Write that business plan. Reach out to that collaborator. Learn that new skill. Start building your team. And remember, you're not alone in this journey. Look around you, connect with your fellow creators, build a community. Because when we come together, when we support each other, when we pool our talents and our resources, there's no limit to what we can achieve. The future of music is in your hands. The next big sound, the next cultural movement, the next industry revolution, it's all waiting to be born. And you, yes, you are the one who's going to bring it into the world. So let's make some noise. Let's shake things up. Let's create a music world that's as diverse, as innovative, as unstoppable as we are. Because this isn't just about music. This is about legacy. This is about empowerment. This is about changing the world, one beat, one rhyme, one revolutionary idea at a time. The stage is set. The spotlight is on and the world is waiting. It's your time to shine. It's your time to lead. It's your time to create your own music world. So what are you waiting for? Let's make history. Let's make music. Let's make waves. The revolution starts now, and it sounds like you